No place for losers. Those were my brother's exact words as he blocked the doorway on Christmas Eve. Behind him the tree glowed. My mother clutched her wine, and my father wouldn't even look at me. I stood there holding a bag of gifts for their kids. Gifts I'd spent weeks picking out while my brother smirked like he'd finally won. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just said, "You're right." That night, I made one quiet move that froze every payment, keeping his family afloat. And by New Year's, he was the one knocking on my door. Stay with me to know everything about us. I used to love Christmas. The lights, the cinnamon candles, the way snow softened even the ugliest corners of our street. It was the one day I could pretend our family was normal. But that illusion cracked years ago slowly, almost gently, like ice splitting under your feet before you hear it break. Growing up, I was the fixer. If a bill was late, I paid it. If someone needed a ride, I dropped everything. When my brother Jacob and his wife Kelly fell behind on their mortgage, I sent money before they even asked. Back then, I told myself it was kindness. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe I just wanted to be seen as the daughter who held everything together. My parents encouraged it. "You've always been the responsible one," my mother would say, smiling in a way that looked like pride but felt like relief. My father rarely said anything at all. He just handed Jacob another plate, another favor, another excuse. Over time, I stopped noticing how much I gave away. School tuition for the kids done. Utility bills covered. When Jacob lost another job, I wired money without thinking. The truth is, it was easier to pay than to argue. The funny part, they called it help, but it was really control, just not mine. Every time I bailed them out, I chained myself tighter to their approval. That's how it works in my family. Generosity is the leash, and love is the treat they dangle in front of you. This year was supposed to be different. For once, I planned early, bought thoughtful gifts, booked time off work, even baked the old sugar cookies my grandmother used to make. I imagined laughter, a fire, maybe forgiveness. Instead, I got Jacob's smirk and my mother's silence. No place for losers. Those words didn't just cut. They rearranged something inside me on the drive home. The car felt heavier. With every turn, the wrapped presents glowed faintly in the passenger seat, like reminders of how naive I'd been. By the time I parked outside my apartment, I wasn't crying. I was calm. Too calm. Because for the first time, I saw the truth. I hadn't been part of a family for years. I'd been part of a system that depended on me staying quiet. And this Christmas, silence was about to sound very different. That night, I didn't sleep. The words replayed over and over. No place for losers. Each one sharper than the last. I'd heard Jacob mock me before, but never like that. Never with the whole family watching. The part that hurt most wasn't his voice. It was my mother's silence. My father's eyes fixed on the floor. That silence said what none of them dared to. "We agree with him." The next morning, I made coffee and sat at my kitchen table staring at the list I'd made a month ago. Christmas budget, presents, shipping receipts, school fees. My handwriting looked foreign, like a stranger's desperate attempt to buy affection. I traced each line with my finger, realizing how much of my life was wrapped around Jacob's comfort. Every emergency payment had chipped away at my own. Then something inside me shifted. It wasn't anger. It was exhaustion. The kind that comes when you finally understand the rules of a game you never agreed to play. I opened my laptop and pulled up my accounts. There they were. Transfers labeled kids' tuition, daycare, groceries, top-up utilities. I clicked through each one, the amounts rising like quiet proof of my stupidity. I didn't slam the laptop shut or cry. I just started ending them. Cancel. 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 One by one, I deleted every automatic payment. Took 5 minutes to undo 5 years. I expected to feel guilty. Instead, I felt light. The apartment seemed quieter, even the air warmer. I made another cup of coffee, stronger this time, and stood by the window watching flakes of snow swirl under the streetlights. For once, I wasn't thinking about who needed what or how to fix things. I was thinking about boundaries, how peaceful they sound when you finally draw one. By noon, I had packed the Christmas gifts into storage boxes and taped them shut. I didn't throw them away. I just couldn't look at them yet. Every ribbon, every tag felt like evidence from a crime I'd committed against myself. That afternoon, Jacob texted me, "You could have at least dropped off the presents. Kids are waiting." I stared at the message for a long moment, then typed one word. "No," he replied almost instantly. "What's your problem?" My fingers hovered above the screen, but I didn't respond. Let him wonder. Let him feel for once what it's like to be met with silence. Jacob's silence lasted all of 2 days. By the third morning, my phone was vibrating nonstop: calls, texts, voicemails. First they were polite. Hey, what's going on? Then desperate. The rent's due. The kids need shoes. Finally angry. You're selfish. You've changed. I didn't answer a single one. I just watched the notifications stack up one over the other, like proof that my worth to them had always been measured in dollars. When I left for work that morning, the city was covered in fresh snow. It was beautiful in a way that made me ache. A reminder that even the coldest things can look clean when they're untouched. That night, I poured myself a glass of wine and sat on the couch with my laptop. The screen glowed with years of history. Every payment I'd ever made for Jacob and Kelly's family. I scrolled through line after line, the list so long it looked endless. Mortgage support, school donations, utility bills, camp fees. That I felt the familiar mix of pity and resentment rise in my throat. But this time I didn't swallow it back. I printed everything. The pages came out warm, smelling faintly of ink and closure. Then I called the bank and confirmed every cancellation. I even changed my online passwords, a small act that felt almost ceremonial. Like locking a door behind me. By Friday, Jacob showed up at my office. No call, no warning. Just barged in, red-faced and sweating under his winter coat. We need to talk, he hissed. My coworkers froze, their eyes flicking between us. Not here, I said quietly, walking him to the parking lot. He spun on me the second the door closed. You think you can just cut us off like that? The kids are suffering. They're your kids, I said evenly. He laughed, a sharp, ugly sound. Oh, so now you care about responsibility. Something in me snapped, but not in the way he expected. My voice stayed calm. You're right. I do care about responsibility. That's why I'm finally taking mine back. His face twisted, but I didn't flinch. You can't do this, he said, stepping closer. I already did. I turned and walked away before he could answer. The snow crunched under my boots, every step louder than his fury behind me. 3 days passed before I heard from him again. When the phone rang, I almost didn't pick up, but something, curiosity, maybe closure, made me answer. Jolie, Jacob said, his voice strained. We need to talk. About what? I asked flatly. You know what? You've made things impossible for us. The kids. Don't, I cut in. Don't use them. He sighed dramatically. Kelly's falling apart. The kids are confused. You used to care. I still do, I said, calm as ever. That's why I stopped. He didn't respond right away. For a second I thought he'd hung up. Then he said, You're not the person I thought you were. I almost laughed. No, I said. I'm not your wallet anymore. He swore under his breath and hung up. I thought that would be it. I was wrong. 2 nights later, there was a pounding on my door, hard, frantic, the kind that rattles your chest before your brain catches up. When I looked through the peephole, Jacob's face filled it. Flushed and wild-eyed. I hesitated, then opened the door just enough to block it with my body.